One of the biggest corporate Democrats is trying to up his progressive credibility. Listen to this from the Washington Post. Senator Cory Booker on Wednesday introduced legislation that would legalize marijuana, expunge federal marijuana convictions, and penalize states with racially disparate arrest or incarceration rates for marijuana-related crimes. The changes are aimed at undoing some of the harm the nation's decades-long war on drugs has inflicted on poor and minority communities. Like legislation introduced 2 years ago by Senator Bernie Sanders, the bill from Booker, a New Jersey Democrat, would remove marijuana from the Federal Controlled Substances Act. This would remove marijuana from the purview of the Federal Drug Enforcement Administration and allow states to set their own policies. But Booker's bill would go considerably further. It would withhold some criminal justice funding from states that haven't legalized marijuana if they exhibit racially disproportionate arrest or incarceration rates. In effect, this would apply to each state in which marijuana is not currently legal. A 2013 ACLU report found that nationwide, blacks were nearly 4 times as likely to be arrested on marijuana charges as whites, despite similar rates of use of the drug. Okay. So there's some misleading stuff in all the different articles about this. I see that virtually every outlet is referring to this as marijuana legalization. It indeed is not legalization. It's marijuana decriminalization. There's a big difference there. So decriminalization just means, hey, we're going to take it off of the enforcement of the DEA and it's no longer a Schedule I drug. But that doesn't mean it's legalized. Legalized really means it's legal, taxed, and regulated, and you can go to the store, you can go to CVS or fucking Walgreens and go to the medicine aisle, or not, or go to the aisle where the beer is, and oh, boom, I could pick up Mary Jane cigarettes, I could pick up weed, and it's legal to buy in the stores. What he's talking about here is decriminalization. So you're not going to get arrested for doing it, but it's not like just a casual product that's treated like other products where you go to the store and you can buy it. So just a little distinction there that a lot of places missed, the difference between decriminalization and legalization. But what he does do is incentivize the states to legalize it on their own, which again is a big step in a good direction here. Now, credit where credit is due. This bill is a good bill. It's much better than, everybody except Bernie Sanders has put forth. And this is, to have somebody who's like a very mainstream Democrat propose something like this means we're really, marijuana is becoming the new gay marriage in terms of how the Democrats are towards it. It took a long time, but when the polls were like 58%, the Democrats were finally like, yeah, I guess maybe, okay, we could say we're in favor of this. With marijuana, we're already at 61% favorability. And my guess is Cory Booker saw some of those polls and he goes, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do something that's not at all bold here, but it appears bold because nobody else is saying it except Bernie Sanders. So, but credit where credit is due. This is a good bill. This is a good step in the right direction. But let's also don't get it twisted about Cory Booker, because the reality is, here's a guy who knows that his chance to be president was greatly damaged because he lost all of his credibility within the left-wing base. So he's always going to hold the corporate Democrat, establishment, loyalist Democrat wing of the party. They love him. They love him, love him, love him. But he lost virtually all credibility with the base when he voted against Bernie Sanders' bill that would allow for importation of drugs from Canada for lower cost. And it's because he takes $300,000 from Big Pharma, because Big Pharma is big in New Jersey. So the internet all at once took a giant shit on him when he did that. And then he was like, oh, fuck, I may have just shot myself in the foot and killed my presidential chances. So he's like, no, I'm totally on board with lowering the cost of Big Pharma drugs. It's just that, something the FDA didn't regulate it when we bring them into the country. That's not a good excuse, Cory. Canada has stricter regulatory bodies than we do. So it's not like the drugs aren't safe. They're safe. There's no epidemic of people dropping dead from tainted pharma drugs in Canada. And you know that. You know that this is bullshit. So he came up with this bullshit excuse, and then later he's like, okay, no, I'm going to fix this. I'm going to make it right. See, now I'm in favor of a bill that does the same thing, and now I'm proposing it, and see, I told you guys. We know you're doing it to save your ass. Now, again, at the end of the day, you've been pushed to the proper position, so that's good that, you know, you care so much about your political future that you're like, okay, fine, I'll do what the progressives want. That's good. But we know that you're always going to be wrestling those Wall Street influences, big pharma influences, billionaire influences, lobbyist influences, PAC influences. We know that you're weighing what they want, and you don't want to piss them off because you don't want to hurt your donor base. So you're trying to walk these impossible lines as, see, I'm going to be great for progressives, but also for my donors, and the progressives, but my donors, and blah, 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 blah. So you're a giant political hack is what you are. Now, again, credit where credit is due. This bill's better than not doing it. I would go a little further and legalize, tax, and regulate all over the country. But it's still, hey, credit where it's due. This is a good bill. But I just want everybody to keep it in perspective. We can say this is a good bill without going, well, that's it. Now Cory Booker's, you know, would be a great president. No, he's still one of Wall Street's favorite Democrats, one of Big Pharma's favorite Democrats. He still takes a tremendous amount of corporate and PAC money. He's still in favor of charter schools. That's something even other corporate Democrats go, ooh, that's too far in the corporate direction. No, I'm not doing that. So just keep everything in perspective. This is a good bill, but it is a clear effort to say, oh, let me get back in the good graces of progressives so that when I run, I can win. That's what he's thinking. Because above all else, he's a careerist. And he'll stop at nothing to try to get that power, get that position, get that next role, because it's all about the self-aggrandizement. So this is a good bill, but just keep Cory Booker in perspective and know what he is.